In this video, we are going to get into Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, depopulation, the Green New Deal, climate change, and of course, population control, plus a lot more. But of course, we have to preface first by saying that We Are Change believes in individual liberty and freedom. I personally believe in no centralization, no government, no one over you telling you what to do. Jason believes in a limited form of that, but we both agree that you should have the personal freedom to put whatever, sit in whatever, or do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anyone. I'm mentioning this because Jason didn't want to do this video, but I think, Jason, there is something to ask here when we have an institution that extorts and steals money from people, taxation, the BBC in the UK publishing programming like this, highlighting two women as brave for not wanting to have children to supposedly save the earth. Let's just play this clip. Let's just get into it, Jason.
Well, absolutely, Luke. You know, you look at this stuff and you're right. There has been a large depopulation agenda for a long time, and this seems to coincide.
There are people out there that are so scared about this that they feel that they can't actually have a family.
Again, fear-mongering. These women are so fearful of climate change, they don't want children. Again, why is the BBC pushing this? They are part of a growing group called Birth Strike. Holy
Birth
cow.
Strike. Hey.
Right, let's keep it going, Jason. Keep it going.
Yeah.
This is absolutely insane.
Our planet is in a kind of collapse. The natural world is collapsing around us, and that's
Wait, pause it right
happening
there.
right now.
Do you see that anxiety-filled panic, that fear porn that is being spread all throughout people, trying to, of course, put them in a low vibrational state? We're seeing it from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We've seen it from the royal family, which you're going to get into in just a little bit. But you could just see they're so paralyzed with nonsense, absolute lunacy. Now, yes, we could also say that, yes, a part of the earth is being destroyed, but how is it being destroyed and who's responsible for it, or a completely other thing? Let's keep going here.
And I'm so disappointed by the response by our authorities to this crisis, and so freaked out by it. Everything that I've read, that I've basically, last year I came to the decision that I couldn't bring a child into that. And
okay, this is important to interrupt here and talk about when she's talking about the authorities, the UK authorities. If you look at pollution, it is predominantly coming from China. After China, it's coming from India. After India, it's coming from Africa. Undeveloped countries who don't know how to process waste and literally throw plastic into the oceans, which is coming from the world. Most of the pollution in this world is happening because of undeveloped countries and China specifically. In the Western world, it's coming from the military-industrial complex. A very important fact that I don't see the mainstream media talking about, but they are talking about. You should not have children. That's what they're pushing on you. And that, again, is a huge, huge disinformation campaign. Let's just continue on because I have so much to say about this.
Yeah, I have. I mean, each day for me is a struggle. I really do. I'm so depressed, and that has led to just a fear that I've never felt before. And my decision for being on birth strike mostly has come from not wanting to pass that fear on to someone else. If we're in this situation,
I have to stop it right there, because what did we hear? Depression, Luke. Fear. I made a decision based on fear, and that I don't want other people to fear this. It's a struggle every day. This is lunacy, my friend.
They are the epitome of political victims playing victimization. And if a state or an entity or someone above you wants to control you, the best way to do that is to put you in fear, in an emotional state, so you don't act rationally and you don't deal with the larger problems and issues. Again, they're blaming themselves for this. They're legitimately, I don't say that these women are lying. You could kind of see some of the emotions on their face, and I think this is legit, but this is a textbook example of someone who is being victimized by disinformation, by propaganda, which we're going to go over. Is that the end of the clip, or is there more here?
No, there's just a little bit more right here.
Let's play it.
Situation now, you know, even since my parents had me, we've destroyed 60% of life on this planet. What would that be like when my child's my age? Will there be 10% left? That's not just to do with being, a nature wildlife enthusiast like I am. That's dangerous as well.
totally
Oh boy.
brainwashed individuals. Again, the idea of depopulation, this is interesting, actually came from the United Kingdom in 1798 from a Thomas Mathis, who said that the world would go hungry and there would be no food in the time of 1890. He had a solution towards this problem that he called out in 1798, and he said the solution is to kill off half of the poor people. That's literally where the eugenics depopulation idea first originated from when it comes to modern history. Then it also resurfaced in 1968 by Stanford. That, of course, created more fear mongering. And people need to understand here, this whole depopulation thing is an utter myth. It's a lie, because every family on this planet, no, not many people know this, every family on this planet could have their own home, could have a yard, and fit in Texas. The entire world could fit inside of Texas and still have a house and yard to themselves. And this is why we're seeing just such utter fear-mongering propaganda. We're overpopulated. We're destroying this earth. No. Yes, there are some legitimate issues to deal with, but those issues don't originate with you being the mostly responsible for it. The U.S. military-industrial complex, developing countries are issues, of course. I would dare these women or other people, activists, go to China, go protest the government about pollution there. They'll literally black bag you and sell your organs on the black market if you protest China, or put you on the social credit score and isolate you where you can't even travel. Holy cow, that's my rant on it. And again, Jason, this is nothing new. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is pushing this bigger agenda, even recently, not just pushing with the Green New Deal, but also just similar hyperbolic, insane statements where in the Western world, populations are declining more than ever. The developing world are increasing more than ever. Another important factor. But tell us about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Jason.
Yeah, so if you take a look at this article here, she's basically saying, look, we don't know, global warming is real, and should we 12 years from now, and can the kids, and there's a nice little picture over there, a couple kids that looks like they have a lemonade stand. Oh, Ocasio, she's with the children. She's really thinking of the kids. Now, you get to what she says, and we'll play the little clip right here.
And so it's basically like there's scientific consensus.
Scientific consensus. No, there is not. Let's stop. When we talk about
eugenics that was funded by the Rockefeller family, that scientific consensus, that's a whole nother issue. Go ahead. Sorry, Jason.
I mean, when we talk about just the carbon dioxide issue, you talked about legitimate pollution, right? Because pollution is legitimate. When you talk about, military testing, when you talk about mercury runoff from factories, when you talk about pollutants being put into the air, yes. When you talk about carbon dioxide, when there's a volcanic eruption, it does more than the human beings can do for years and years and years. That's nature.
Decades.
That's not us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it actually does that. It's amazing. Now, the scientific consensus, listen to this crazy woman. I'm sick of people telling me I shouldn't have children. And in that previous clip, the authorities weren't doing enough, Luke. Well, should the authorities tell me when and how many children I should have? Let's ask Ocasio.
Children are going to be very difficult, and it does lead, I think, young people to have a legitimate question. Is it okay to still have children?
Is it okay? Not should I make a decision on how many kids I had? Can I manage them? Is it okay? Is it all right to have kids? I'm going to answer that question. It's a really easy one. Yes. Yes, Luke, it's okay.
Yeah, and why is a state-funded institution telling you can't have children because you need to save the world in the Western world, who is, again, not the main one responsible for it? If this was legitimate, if they really cared, they would talk about the real issues and the things that are really actually hurting the earth, and none of that. No, they all make up bullcrap. And if you even look at the stats, if you look at the predictions, if you look at everything boiling up, this whole depopulation myth is just being pushed and shoved down our throats in so many different ways. But according to many experts, in 30 years, the population will peak and then go down from that, based off all the legitimate research that has been done into this issue, and the fact that they're trying to, of course, again, this issue of cleaning up the earth. Yeah, that's a great idea. I think that's great. I think we should clean up after ourselves. I think we should stop having planned obsolescence. I think we should stop throwing plastic into the oceans. That's a great, brilliant idea, but don't mask it with more government, which created this problem in the first place. gosh. And again, what we're having in China, it's not a communistic country. It's not a capitalistic country. It's a corporatist country that prioritizes profit over everything. And it's and that's why they're calling it a quasi of both. But that's essentially the world government moving into place, and where all the governments are moving into place, caring about the few individuals on top who are just insane, utterly insane. And I think you could paint Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in that insane box, or just plain dumb for not knowing this bigger agenda here, not caring about the bigger truths here, and not fighting for the right things, because what she's fighting for is going to lead down a pathway towards utter government control, regulation, and usurping of your human spirit and freedom that you have in yourself. And again, this is not just a brilliant idea that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, this is an idea that not only comes from the UK in 1798, but this is an idea propagated by many elites throughout history that are absolutely megalomaniac and just insane, like the British royal family, right, Jason?
Yeah, you know, Prince Philip, who unfortunately is still with us today when he's not busy running people off the road like he did a couple months ago. This clip back in 1984, when Jason Burmis was the ripe old age of 5 years old, he was telling us then, you know, the royal family, of course, they have no power, they have no say. He's telling us then that basically human beings need to go. They're responsible for it all. You doubt me?
At the basis of it all is this colossal increase in the human population. It's one of the living species of the planet, but it's reaching plague proportion.
Oh, it's plague proportion. We're a plague. And let me tell you, folks, we've done some bad things to this planet, to wildlife, to each other. Absolutely. But to try to punish all of humanity, to try to regulate who can and can't have kids, to be dumb enough to be tricked into joining an organization called Birth Strike, to have legislators ask the question whether it's okay to have children. Luke, this is mind control propaganda to prepare you for the state to start to decide when and if you can have kids.
That's why it shouldn't be a surprise that this information is coming from a state-run institution, the BBC, of all freaking... I mean, people have to pay for this. People legitimately are forced to pay for this kind of programming to be sent out to everyone. Meanwhile, again, the utter calamities, the other road that this is putting us on is disastrous, and people need to wake up. Again, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez may think she's doing the right thing. She's not. And if you believe in that, share this video with your friends and family members, and of course anyone who of course believes in this mumbo jumbo garbage fear-mongering propaganda meant to destroy human life and potential from its beauty and most amazing thing that it is. And that of course is this existence, this reproduction, and being able to live a life of beauty, of accountability and responsibility, which these people are totally against. And again, the best way not to fall for their agenda, for their traps that they lay out for you, is of course to be informed. We want to thank you for giving us this responsibility to keep you informed as best as we can. We do it independently. We do it because of you. And that's why I want to end every single broadcast by saying, I love you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/we are change.